What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. We continue here with my 2024 predictions for the upcoming 2024 college football season. Illinois is up next. Illinois coming off a pretty big disappointing season last year, going 5-7 overall in 2023. Remember, this is a team that a couple years ago really made it to a bowl game. They were actually pretty good. It seemed like this Illinois football program was heading in the right direction, and they were about to be a team that could probably make it to a bowl game every year, but it seems like they've gone back in the bottom direction of the Big Ten. My thoughts on this team, though, for 2024, I'm not really worried about the roster a little bit more. I know they don't really have a good roster this year. A lot of people are not really high on this Illinois team. A lot of people are saying that they're going to be really dropping off this season. It's not really just about the roster. It's more about the schedule, and it's not really about the coaching staff either. I think they do have a pretty good roster, but again, it's more about the schedule for me for 2024. So let's go ahead and show you that schedule now here for 2024. And this is the schedule. Again, it's a really tough schedule this year in 2024. And again, they were 5-7 last year in 2023. So let's go game by game now and give you a record prediction here for this Illinois team. They start off with a pretty easy game though here on August 29th. This game will be on a Thursday night. They'll play Eastern Illinois. I think they should be able to be able to get an easy win here to start out the year. They should score about 20 plus points here in this one. So I got them starting off 1-0 here pretty easily with a win over Eastern Illinois. And then after that, there's the big non-conference game here in week number 2 on September 7th. They'll play at home against Kansas here on September the 7th here in week number 2. So a big Power 4 non-conference game here. This is a rematch, of course, from last year. The Jayhawks defeated this Illinois team last season in a really close game. I believe it was like 30-24. So they defeated them by 6 points. I couldn't really remember if the game went into overtime or not. Last year, this game, I think, was on a Friday, I believe. So this will be on a Saturday, of course, this time. I think it will be a very competitive game. Illinois is going to definitely do a lot of things to try to really get revenge on this Jayhawks team. But I like Kansas in this game. I think Kansas is definitely the better team here. They're definitely the more well-coached team. They come like a really consistent program in the Big 12. This game also probably could decide who probably has like a really good season the rest of the way and probably makes it to a bowl game. I think it's going to be a lot tougher for Illinois than Kansas, though, because Illinois has a tougher schedule than Kansas does. So with that being said, I think Kansas wins in a close one here. It will be a close game that really goes into the fourth quarter. It really comes down to the wire, but I'm going to go with the Jayhawks here. I do trust Jalen Daniels to make the plays down the stretch. So I got Illinois dropping to 1-1 before taking care of business against Central Michigan here on September 14th. So that puts them now here at 2-1 going into conference play. They'll play on the road here at Nebraska on September 21st. Nebraska, I think, is going to be really good this year. Second-year head coach, of course, with Matt Rule. We'll see how well they can improve this season with all the experience that they have coming back and everything. Very tough place to play. I don't really expect Illinois to have a big chance in this one. We've seen some close matchups between the Cornhuskers and Illinois in the past few years, but I think Nebraska definitely is the better team here. So with that being said, I think Nebraska gets the win here. It's not really a close game. I think Nebraska gets the win, though. So I got Illinois now dropping to 2-2 and starting Big Ten play, 0-1 here in 2024. Next, they play Penn State here on the road on September 28th. So they got back-to-back road games here in very tough environments with Nebraska and Penn State. I really don't see Illinois having a chance in this one either. Penn State, a very tough place to play. Penn State's going to have a really good defense. The offense should be pretty decent as well. I know the game was a little bit close last year in the first half, but Penn State definitely proved to us that they were the better team. At the end of the day last year, they're definitely the more better team here once again this season. So I think Penn State gets the win here fairly easily. So I got Illinois losing 2 games in a row there, back-to-back road games against Nebraska and Penn State. That puts their record now here at 2-3. They get their first bye week here this season before playing Purdue at home here on October 12th. Very even matchup. I think both of these teams are pretty even. Like I said in the Purdue video, this is like a matchup here between the 2 bottom teams in the Big Ten this year. I think the winner of this game probably goes on to have like a better season, like for the rest of the year. It's kind of like similar to the Kansas game. The winner of that game will probably have a really really good season the rest of the way. But like I said, Illinois has a tougher schedule than Kansas does. And I think both of these teams have really tough schedules. Purdue and Illinois, that's why they're sitting there at the bottom of the Big Ten. But like I said, it's a pretty even matchup. Illinois gets a bye week after 2 straight road games in a row. I think they get the win here in a close game. I think, after the bye week, that really helps them out. And they get back to winning ways. So I got Illinois getting the win here against Purdue. That puts them now here at 3-3 on the season. After that, they'll play Michigan here at home on October 19th. And, you go back to my Michigan video back all the way in the month of May when I started these predictions. I know I chose Illinois here to pull off the upset, but I'm actually going to change my pick here. I did meant to choose Michigan because I didn't look at Illinois' roster just yet. I was definitely overlooking, Michigan's roster. Definitely, not really giving them credit for what the roster looks like and everything. I know they lose a lot, but they still have a very talented roster. So with that being said, I'm going to change my pick here. I'm going to go with Michigan here to get the win in a close, or not like a close game. I think it probably could be close for a while, maybe in the first half, but second half the Wolverines pull away. So I got Illinois. Like I said, I'm changing my pick there. I did choose Illinois to win this game back in the month of May, but now I got Michigan winning it here in the month of, in the month of August now. So I got Illinois losing to Michigan there at home. That puts them now here at 3-4 on the season. Next game gets even tougher. They play Oregon here on the road on October 26th. Kind of like similar to the Penn State game. Don't really expect this one to be a close one at all. Oregon going to have a really talented roster on both sides of the football. The offense is going to be really dangerous, and the defense also should be really good as well, with Dan Lanning calling the defensive plays. And also, this game's on the road, a very tough place to play. Not going to be even close at all. Oregon gets the win here fairly easily. So I got Illinois now dropping to 3-5 going into the month of November. After that, they'll play at home against Minnesota here on November 2nd, a Minnesota team that has a lot of production coming back this year. I know a lot of people are saying that Minnesota is going to be definitely overrated this season, but I think this actually could be a really decent Minnesota team. I think Illinois, though, is going to be really competitive in this game. I think, in the month of November and everything, they're going to get better by this time. But, I don't think it will be enough. I think Minnesota definitely is a more better team here, but, again, this game is going to be definitely winnable. I think it will be a very winnable game. It probably could go into the fourth quarter and everything, but I'm going to go with Minnesota here. I trust them a little bit more than Illinois' roster, at least. So I got Illinois losing 3 games in a row. Next game will be at home against Michigan State here on November 16th. They get a bye week before playing this game. This is their second bye week here of the season. And I think this is a pretty good spot for a bye week. You're coming off 3 straight games that are pretty tough. You took some beatdowns in the last 2 weeks there with Michigan and Oregon. And then you got Minnesota here from last week. I think Illinois, after the bye week, they're all, healed up and everything. They get ready for a big time, winnable game here against Michigan State here on November 16th. Of course, Michigan State with a new head coach this year. I think this is a pretty even matchup. It definitely could really go either way. So with that being said, Illinois is playing at home in this one. That does favor them well. So I think it will come down to the wire. But end of the day, home field advantage will be the difference. I'm going to take Illinois here to beat Michigan State here on November 16th. So I got Illinois now, improving to 4-6. Next, they'll play Rutgers here on the road on November 23rd. Another pretty even matchup here. I think this is another very winnable game here for Illinois. It is on the road, though, so if this game was at home here for Illinois, I definitely would choose, Illinois to beat Rutgers here. I think Rutgers playing at home, that does favor them here enough in this one. It is a close game. I'm going to go with Rutgers here just because they're playing at home. So I got Illinois losing their 7th game here of the season, so no bowl game this year for the Fighting Illini just because of how tough this schedule is. And then after that, the final game of the season will be on the road here at Northwestern. Northwestern's going to have a pretty good defense this year. Again, this game will be on November 30th. Northwestern, they do have some question marks on the offensive side of the football, but I think they're definitely a more well-coached team than Illinois is. I know, Illinois was better than, Northwestern a couple years ago, but I think Northwestern's now a program that's heading in the right direction once again. So with that being said, it's kind of like similar to the Rutgers game, though. It will be a close game, but 50-50 game. It will be the home field advantage will be the difference here. I'm going to go with Northwestern here to get the win. So I got Illinois losing their final 2 games here of the regular season, on the road at Rutgers and then on the road here at Northwestern. So I got Illinois finishing with a record of 4-8 here for 2024, and it's not really really just like the roster, like I mentioned in the early part of the video. It's more about the schedule. You got Nebraska on the road, you got Penn State on the road, you got Michigan, Oregon. Those are very tough games there in the Big Ten. And then you got, of course, Kansas in the non-conference, which I think is very winnable. Like I said, I think that game really decides Illinois' season. If they can win that game, they can definitely have like a really good season and probably go like 6-6, maybe 5-7. But still, it probably won't be enough to make it to a bowl game if they were to at least beat Kansas in the early part of the season. But again, this is a very tough schedule here for 2024 for this Illinois team. That's the reason why I have them going 4-8 here for 2024. So let me guys know what you think about this Illinois team down in the comments below. What do you think their record will be for 2024? Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports channel.